Good day, class. I am Teacher Anne, and for today, you are going to learn a new lesson. Our topic for today would be all about figures of speech. But before anything else, let's have a recall on what we had last meeting. Last time, we tackled about the different elements of poems. So first and foremost, what is a poem? A poem are pieces or writing pieces that are arranged in a series of lines that specifically has rhythm. And what are the different elements of poems? Yes, the different elements of poem are rhyme, rhythm, sound devices, imagery, and lastly is the figures of speech. So yes, today we will gonna talk about the figures of speech. So what is a figure of speech? What is it that comes up to your mind once you heard the word or the once you heard the word figure? Words figures of speech. So figures of speech are an important poetic and literary device. So figures of speech is not only an important or an element of a poem, but it is also a very important literary device. So figures of speech is defined as the use of words or expressing which meanings are different from their literal interpretations. So those expressions used to convey different meanings from their literal interpretations. Today's agenda, our focus will be more on the different types of figures of speech since the definition was already given. It is to convey different meaning from the literal interpretations itself. So, do you know that there are many different types of figures of speech? So right now, I will gonna introduce to you the 5 common types of figures of speech. So before anything else, do you have any idea at all on what are the different common types of the figures of speech? There are many types of figures of speech, but today we're gonna tackle only the 5 common types of figures of speech. The figures of speech are defined or classified or put into terms in so many bullets. The first one, let's talk about figures of speech takes language beyond the literal sense, beyond the literal interpretations. It gives meaning beyond what is given already. And another one, it is used both in prose and poet with different purposes. The third one, it is commonly used for emphasis. The fourth one, the freshness of expression since it conveys different expression, different meanings given from the literal statement itself. Another one, it makes the speech or the statement more unique or distinctive since using the figures of speech or figurative language, these common types of figurative language, it could be used as something to catch the listener's attention on what you wanted to convey on your statement, on your text, or on your speech. And lastly, it is commonly used when conversing in English. Yes, of course, many people are using the figures of speech in their daily conversation with their fellow individual as it really emphasis as it really conveys emotion, as it really conveys different interpretation. Like for example, like they wanted to say something to an individual, but they doesn't, or he or she doesn't want to hear that. So he or she will gonna use the figures of speech in order to somehow sugarcoat what's the literal meaning of his statement. That's it. So right now we will gonna talk about the different common types of figures of speech, 5 common figures of speech. The first one, simile. It shows likeness and direct comparison between two objects or events. With the use of the word like, as or as so. For example, he fought as brave as a lion in the battle. From the sentence itself, it shows the likeness and the direct comparison between the bravery of the lion in the battle and the words used in there as brave as the indication of the figure of speech simile. The next one is metaphor. Metaphor is used for comparison or an indirect or implicit comparison between two events or objects. For example, variety is the spice of life. So the comparison or an indirect comparison between variety and the word spice. Do you get it? Next, figures of speech is personification. A personification is giving an inanimate object the qualities of a living thing. For example, the winds howled. So non-living thing given the quality of howling. So wind is a non-living thing, but it is given the quality of a living thing, which is howling. Next example, the branches bowed to welcome us. So the non-living thing is given the quality of bowing. Non-living thing is the tree and it is given the quality of bowing, which is to be done by only a human being. The next type of figures of speech is the alteration. Alteration is the repetition of a sound of a letter in the beginning of two or more words. So from the definition itself, it is very understandable. Repetition of a sound of a letter at the beginning of two or more words. For example, and how the silence surged softly backwards. Do you see the highlighted words? There is a repetition of a sound of a letters on every word. Another example, she sells seashells on the seashore. As you can see in the sentence being used as the example, you can see that there is the repetition of the letter S on two or more words. The next type of figures of speech is the repetition. Repetition is defined as words are repeated more than once in a single line. Again, words are repeated more than once in a single line. So it adds a pleasing or musical effect to the poem. For example, a friend, a friend, all my wealthy for a friend. Do you spot the repeated words in a single line? Yes, the word friend is used 3 times. Another example, starlight, star bright, first star I see tonight. So the word star is repeated 3 times. Those are the 5 common types of figures of speech used in daily basis. So right now, we will be having an oral examination in which you are going to identify on what figures of speech is being asked in each statement that I will be going to read to you and also what is shown on the whiteboard. Number 1. They fought like cats and dogs. So what figures of speech is being asked in the statement? Anybody? Yes, it's a simile. An example of simile because it shows likeness between two things, between two objects, and the word like is being used in the sentence. Number 2. The threes danced back and forth in the wind. So what figures of speech is being asked in the statement? Yes, it is personification. Because the threes are given the qualities of a human being through the word used, danced. Next one, Peter Piper pick a peck of pickled peppers. So what figures of speech is being asked in the statement? Yes, it is alliteration because it shows the sound of a letter in every two or more words. So next one, I can see the news travels quickly. So what figures of speech is being asked in the statement? Yes, very good. It is personification. Why is it personification? Yes, because news was given the quality of of a living thing, which is the word travels. Next one. Mother was a cook, mother was a teacher, mother was a referee, and mother was a mother. So what figures of speech is being asked in the statement? Anybody? So yes, it is repetition. Why is it repetition? Because the word mother was used repeatedly in only one line. Next one. Sally sells a seashells in the seashore. So what figures of speech is being asked in the statement? Very good. It is alliteration. Why is it alliteration again? It is because the first letter in every word was used repeatedly in two or more words. Next one. The dog's bed is a marshmallow. It looks so comfortable. So what figures of speech is being asked in the statement? Yes, it is a metaphor. Why is it a metaphor? Because there is an indirect or implicit comparison between the dog and the marshmallow. Very good. The next one. I want to have a heart-to-heart talk with her. So what figures of speech is being asked in the statement? Yes, it is repetition. Why is it repetition? Because of the word heart to heart. Her eyes were diamonds. So what figures of speech is being asked in the statement? Yes, very good. It is metaphor. Because again, it shows an indirect or implicit comparison between eyes and the diamonds. Lastly, but not the least, your explanation is as clear as a mud. So what figures of speech is being asked in the statement? So yes, it is simile because again, it shows likeness between two objects. And the word as blank as is used, which is an indication of simile. So I guess you really have understood the lesson for today since you really performed well. Very good class. Thank you so much for participating. Once again, this is Teacher Anne. Have a good day.